Well, you guys saw my hot air station in the last video. This time we're going to tear it down and take a look inside. See how well this one's built. Let's check it out. So you guys watched the prior video when I was demonstrating this thing. Let's take a look inside and see what's inside the control box on this air station. Seems to be pretty simple, pretty lightweight. Doesn't seem like there's much, if anything, in here. Let's find out what's in it. Why turn screws by hand? We have power tools for that. Not much in here. Take the front cover off. This is where all the electronics are, from the front. It is a metal box. This is metal. Okay, here's the inside. The inside scoop. So this is the guts. The actual iron operates on 110 volts. It's not a low voltage iron like some others. And our mains power comes in, goes into this plug. There's a triac here. I guess this is a triac to control it. It's got a temperature sensor and the fan control and stuff. Remove seal after washing it. That's the buzzer. They didn't remove the seal after washing the board. Got a separate ground wire. That's ground there. It's tied to the mains ground. There's a fuse in the back. There's a fuse right here. There's a second fuse on the board. A little power supply to power the electronics. And you got a couple buttons on the front and a variable resistor control to set the fan speed. Nothing fancy. Power switch. Power switch is in line with the AC power cord that powers the unit up. And that's about it. It's called an 858D. I have no idea what branding it is because there actually is no branding on this thing. It's just called an 858D air station. Construction wise, it looks to be okay. Oh, you know, looks fine to me. Optocoupler right here. Looks to be okay construction wise, and as we saw in the prior video, it does the job. It does the job I bought it for, so that's about all I can show you on this. I just wanted to take it apart and show you guys inside the unit. We'll put the front back on. No way of knowing how long this is going to last. I guess it'll last until the iron itself burns out. I know there's a timing circuit because it does shut off if it's left sitting in the holder for a period of time. It does shut off. first time I did it, I thought something was wrong with it because adjusting the temperature and turning the power switch on and off and stuff did nothing. It came on for a second and then shut off again. I thought, what the heck? Is this thing burned out already? But no, there's actually a tilt switch inside the iron itself, inside the nozzle. So when it's sitting unused, it will run for a while and then it shuts off. I'll demonstrate that. I'll turn it on. And we'll let it sit until it shuts off. One thing that's nice about it is it does have a variable speed. So you can crank it up, and that is hot. Or turn it right down. And it's warm. The air is pretty warm coming out of here. It's 470 degrees, and it will burn. It will burn you quick. 470 degrees Celsius is what I got set for. Although normally when you're doing this type of stuff, normally I think around 400 and maybe 420, somewhere in there. In the prior one, I slammed the instructions as being in Chinese, but it's actually in English too. I just had to look closer. It actually is in English, and we can switch it between Celsius and Fahrenheit by holding the two buttons together. I'll do that once it times out. I'm still waiting for it to time out. I don't know how many minutes it goes. It went for quite a few minutes, but it does have instructions here in English and Chinese. I'd like to tell you how to change the heating element, because the heating element is replaceable. So it shut off. So now all I need to do is I should just be able to pick this up and it should turn back on. So it does time out after it's sat. It sat for like 6 minutes and it timed out. You can also shut it off by tapping both buttons together. And that'll shut it off right away. And then as soon as you pick it up, it'll come back on again. I think there's a way to change this to Fahrenheit. Oh, there we go. Double tap. So you tap it twice, and then you can change it to Fahrenheit. There we go. There, now it's 806. You see, now that to me makes more sense. I deal with temperatures in Fahrenheit when I'm soldering. So for me, having it set to when I pick it up, it'll go up, it'll heat up, right there it goes. It's now at 800 degrees. For me, dealing with temperatures in Fahrenheit makes more sense. Even though everything else I do is in metric, I still think of temperature. I grew up before, like when Canada changed from standard imperial measurements to metric system when I was young. So basically I learned imperial measurements all the way up through into grade 7, I guess it was, and that's when the transition to metric, 1975, that's when Canada went metric. So I had to learn everything all over again. I'd already learned the imperial system, and then going into high school I had to learn metric system. So I worked with both, but I always think of temperature in Fahrenheit. For me, temperature has always been Fahrenheit. See, it cools down. When I put it in there, it went down to 400 degrees. It shuts the heating element down, so it cools down after it's been sitting for a while, and then it'll shut off. But for me, I always think of temperature in terms of Fahrenheit. You know, I can think of both. I know water boils at 100 Celsius, which is 212 Fahrenheit, right? But in terms of soldering, my iron always has been in degrees Fahrenheit. So when I think of soldering, I always think of degrees Fahrenheit. When I'm cooking something in the oven, I think in terms of degrees Fahrenheit. I I can't think Celsius. I have to pull out a calculator and convert it to get the temperature in Celsius. I always think everything else, I think in metric, right? I think in liters. I think in kilometers per hour. I think in meters as opposed to feet and inches. But temperature, I always think in Fahrenheit. So for me, having the tip temperature, the temperature set to degrees Fahrenheit, for me makes a lot more sense. So now you know how to do it on one of these units. Double tap twice, right? And that will do it. And then you can change it between Fahrenheit and Celsius. That's that, and then see, and it starts up. Anyway, that's a little teardown of the air station. Now it stinks in here because I was starting fires while I was waiting for this thing to time out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.